I always ask what the message is for the month, and February always seems to be about love, I guess, Valentine's Day and all that stuff. Really, I'd love to talk about love all year round. You know, it's not just for the month. You know, we just do the love in the month and that's it. The rest of the year, we're just anything we want. You know, it's, I think that topic of love is a huge topic. It's you know, when I sat and asked about, you know, the message of love, the only thing that kept coming was love is the answer. Love is the only answer. And I walked in today, it was so interesting because I was sharing this when we came early to set up the room, and I was sharing with Dan about what took place today for myself, and that I was a bit raw when I came in because my husband and I are in a interesting place at the moment. And I was driving in from the Central Coast thinking, wow, and the topic is love today. But that's just perfect, you know, really is perfect. And as we were doing our processing this morning and things were coming up, and I kept being reminded of myself about that truly love is the only answer. And no matter what's showing up, it's about coming back and choosing love. No matter what's happening, no matter what the conflict is, no matter what the fear is, no matter what is showing up in, you know, with our health, with anything, that we always have a choice of what we're going to choose in that moment. And I think that is an interesting thing of, you've heard choosing love or fear, right? That those are really the only two emotions. Everything else kind of fits in to those. You know, that fear encompasses everything, really. It all kind of fits into that one. But it's either one or the other, isn't it? I mean, you either choose one or the other. You can either be in a place of fear and doubt and worry and all of those things, or in a place of feeling that presence of love, which is the wholeness and peace and all the things you want to bring into that. Isn't that true? And so I was really reminded today, and I was writing all the stuff down, we're having this heated thing, I'm like writing all these notes. He goes, oh, is this giving you stuff for the talk today? I said, yeah, well, you know, this is life, and this is what happens in life, is things come up for healing and things come up for understanding and for insight and all the other things that it brings up, you know. And so I just want to read you a quote first. I found all these wonderful things of love, and I thought, well, I bet the talk's going to be pretty different today from what I thought in the beginning. But this is from Yogi Bhajan. Yogi Bhajan brought Kundalini Yoga to the West, and that's the yoga that I teach. And he passed away in the beginning of 2000, but his messages live on forever, and I thought this one was very beautiful. We are made of the love energy of the universe. We must replenish that universal energy every day in order to live. So I'll read that again. We are made of the love energy of the universe. We must replenish that universal energy every day in order to live. Isn't that true? You know, it's a vital energy. It's a vital source of well-being, a vital source. And, you know, it's so interesting as we think about love and we go, oh, like all the things that love brings up, and opening our hearts to, you know, to love again, and when we've been hurt, and, you know, and letting people love us, and feeling lovable, and all these things that the human part of us experience, when the spirit is that always. You know, as Stan and I were having this little thing this morning, whatever it was, something in me, I stepped out of Laurie, the Laurie in this physical body, the Laurie that was crying and upset and blah, 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 and I stepped into, I thought I was channeling Reverend Michael, but I stepped into my higher Laurie, the higher self Laurie, that wasn't attached to anything in that moment. And I said to him, so what do you choose in this moment? Like, it's a choice, you know. What do you choose right now? And I thought, you know, it brought me back to 8 years ago when, before Stan and I got married. I can't remember if we got married first, and then, anyway, we were in Los Angeles, and Michael Beckwith did a blessing for us in front of the whole congregation, in front of everyone at Agape. And what he said to us was the most profound thing, and stays with me every single day. He said, and this is for all of us, whether you're in a relationship or not, because we're all in relationships with people in our families, our children, our friends, you know, just day-to-day life. So you don't have to be in an intimate relationship for you to live this. And he said to me, your only challenge in your, or your only, I think he used the word challenge, in your relationship, in your marriage, is to see who can love the most and who can forgive the fastest. That's it. Who can love the most and who can forgive the fastest. So for me, I really take that on. It's like, okay, so, you know, I'm going to step up to the plate and remember that all the time. Like, you know, come back to love, come back to love, come back to love. Because that's really all that there is. That will heal everything. There isn't anything that love doesn't heal. Is there? I haven't found anything. Have you? You know, and that includes loving ourselves. You know, I think sometimes it's easy for us to love another than for us to love ourselves. I don't know why that is. But that's the most important place to start, is that love for ourselves. Isn't it? Because without that, it's pretty hard to be in relationship with someone, especially when it gets challenging, to stay in that place of love. If you're loving yourself, then it's easier to stay wherever you are. So that's the first place to go. That's the first practice. That is our spiritual practice, really, as far as I'm concerned, is to truly get to a place where we can love and accept and forgive ourselves and be in that place of acceptance with who we are, no matter what. You know, we could all name a ton of things that we don't like about ourselves. We wish we're different. I wish I was thinner. I wish I was fatter. I wish I was this. I wish I was that. And I wish that. Spirit would just say to you, you're perfect. You're perfect. You're perfect. There's nothing that you have to change. You're perfect. You just have to know that and remember it. And we get challenged with that, don't we? Especially when we're not feeling good, or we get an ache and a pain, or we have a, you know, something goes wrong, and then we go, see? It's a reminder. It's a little reminder. It's an opportunity to go back and say, okay, I'm going to love myself through this, whatever is happening. I'm going to love myself through it. Rumi says, there's no love greater than love with no object, for then you yourself have to become love itself. You know, we're it. We are. You know, we're made in that image and likeness. We're made in that spiritual presence, which is love. That's what we all are. And I think, you know, I always believe that we came here, most of us, some of us know it and remember it every day. But for those of us that forget it sometimes, you know, we're here to remember, just to keep remembering that that's who we are, and to keep choosing it. It's a choice. Everything's a choice. Every moment we have a choice. Every breath we have a choice. Isn't that good to know? I think that's great to know. When we were little, we didn't know we really had a choice sometimes, did we? You have to go to school. You have to do this, wear this. Then we get older and we realize, oh my God, I have a choice. That means I'm responsible for my own self. Wow, let me go back to the other way. But we're each responsible for our own happiness. We're each responsible for our own beingness. We're each responsible for ourselves. Well, that's a bit scary, but it's also incredible, isn't it? Because it's all up to each one of us. So, I choose love. Do you? Just turn to the person next to you and let them know, I choose love. So that's your practice for the next month. You know, is really, even write it up on your wall. You know, I choose love. And reminding yourself when things, you know, we're always thrown curveballs and things. That's life. That's life. And what we do with it is everything. You know, really, truly, how we respond to something and what we do with it is all that matters. It's all that matters. Because, you know, I heard this long time ago, and I truly believe it, is that we're not given anything we can't handle. We are never given anything we can't. It might push us a lot to grow, but we're never given anything that we can't handle, because the support will be there, and the love is always there. Sometimes you have to be willing to ask for help, and ask for what you need, and it's there. Right, Lise?
Right.
No, it's there, but we have to be willing to ask for support. How many of you is that hard to do? To ask for support? Yeah. Okay, well, you practice it for the next month. Start to you know, get your courage up to ask for some support. Start with a little tiny thing first. Because we're not alone. You know, that's why I love this center. It's because we're all here to support each other. But sometimes we don't know what support you need. The universe can't know what support you need unless you ask. Unless you're willing to open up and say, I need this support right now. No, you're not in alone. None of us are. And we're all here to love and support each other. You know, and that's what's so beautiful about a spiritual community, isn't it? You know, I walked in and I was like, a little bit weepy and a little bit vulnerable, and everyone's like, I'm here for you, Laurie. Whatever you need. And it's a bit like, I sometimes go a bit like, wow, okay, how do I take this in? You know. But it is, like, we're, you know, this is how we allow more love in, by being willing to receive. It's easy sometimes to give it out than to receive it in, isn't it? I'm seeing lots of nods. And that's the practice. The practice is both, is giving and receiving. They're both just as important. Just as important. Like when someone gives you a compliment, what do you do with it? Oh no, this is an old dress. No, this dress? No? Don't we do that? How many of you have done that? That someone gives you this compliment out of love. It's like giving you love and you go, no thank you, I'll give it back.
Especially with dresses.
Especially with dresses, I know. That's just not the right color for you. No, but I mean, I just use that as an example. But you know what I mean, yeah. Like, could be any compliment. And that's all part of receiving love. Because what is love? Love is an energy. It's an uplifting energy. So these are all things of being willing to receive, being willing to open ourselves up, being willing to ask for help and support when we need it. And as we are willing to do that, the universe just, it's amazing what comes forth. What comes forth. I'll just mention Lisa because I think her story is so incredible that she's decided to give up where she lived and take some time to house sit and be this free woman to get things together for herself. And it was this trust in the universe of where will she live? Like how will it all work out? And I said to her, well, it will. It's just about trusting that the universe will give her, if we're willing to step out and take the leap, the universe is there to catch us. Well, Lisa's had everything, every month, everything, like the dates have fit. One finishes, the next one starts. Honestly, like she finishes one house sit, then the next one starts the next day. Like that's how it's slotted into place. And we worry, oh, how will this happen? It's like, the universe knows how to take care of everything. We just have to be willing to trust the unfoldment and trust the not knowing. True? And be willing to step out. Be willing to step out of our little comfort zone that's, here, to maybe put your foot out a little bit and get a little comfortable and then put it out a little further and a little further, to be willing to be open to receive something so incredible. So as we were having this thing this morning, I was writing little notes. Come back to love as quick as possible. Like as Michael Beckwith said, see who can love the most and forgive the fastest. Who can. So it's really about, it's a wonderful challenge, isn't it? Just to keep saying, I'm going to come back to love as quick as possible. And when you get out of it, get cranky, get whatever, worried, get whatever happens to us in the human form, and it's a constant reminder to just keep coming back to love. It's a good. Anyone going to take that next month's challenge of coming back as quick as you can? Time yourself, see how quickly you can come back to that place of love, that place of just being, being that presence of love that we all are. And choose to feel good. Choose what feels good. I love listening to Esther and Jerry Hicks, and Jerry's now in the spirit world, but listening to their messages, because it's always about, when you're in the right direction because it feels better. It feels better. If something's feeling really bad, maybe that's a little sign that maybe that's not the right direction. So choosing to feel good, whatever's happening, even if you're not feeling good physically, choosing to feel good. I choose today to feel good no matter what's showing up. And that changes the vibration, that changes the energy. And to just, the last thing is to really ask ourselves, what are we giving our power to? Right? So you know what I mean by that? Like, if we're not in a place of love, what are we giving our power to? It's like consciously choosing. I'm giving that part of me, because we all have different parts of ourselves. We have the fearful part, we have the doubtful part, we have the part that knows, it's a spiritual part that knows all is good. That we have all these little parts of us. And so it's just about seeing what part you're giving power to. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? Like I said to Stan this morning, well, wow, you're giving a lot of power to that judgmental part. It's like, take it over right now. And there's always a choice, you know, of where you're going to put your place of power, your energy. Are you going to put it on that or put it on being more loving, taking more loving? I thought that was a powerful message just to ask ourselves every day. You know, every day. It's a constant reminder because we get caught up in the things happening around us. We get caught up in our own thinking sometimes, don't we? So these are just little reminders, you know, nothing that you haven't heard before. Just reminders. So once a day, sit quietly and place a hand upon your heart. So you might want to do it right now, if you'd like to. And send love to your heart. Allow yourself to feel the love your heart has for you. Your heart's been beating for you since before you were born. Your heart is love, and the blood in your veins is joy. Your heart is now lovingly pumping joy throughout every cell, throughout every part of your body. So just really take a moment to connect, to feel that, to thank your heart, to thank that loving presence within you, to tune into that loving presence. And just feel it. Just sense it. Thank that loving presence that is you for being you, for who you are. And now just send loving energy and loving kindness just into every part of your being. If there's pain in your body, send it there especially. But just imagine through your hands sending loving energy, loving light into each part. Imagine the cells in your body smiling. Just accepting that love. Accepting that healing. So that you can fill your own being up with this loving energy. And you're overflowing with it. And then you can see that overflow going to all the people that you love and seeing that heart connection from your heart to their heart. And sending it around the planet so that there's this energy of love being sent all around. And then just affirm inside of your being, I am love. Just breathe that in. I am love.